Deliver on your promises, and chances of ever having to start from scratch dramatically diminish. Not to mention, attracting new clients and customers, it becomes so much easier, especially when you start talking about referrals. So in today's video, I am going to show you how to use a calendar to keep your commitments and build trust with your clients that can't be shaken. Okay, let's dive in to the heart of why maintaining scheduled integrity is not just good practice, it's absolutely essential for your long-term success as a solopreneur. I am going to guide you through setting up the same fail-proof system that I use, all right? Now, we're primarily talking about integrity when it comes to your clients. So if you don't have clients yet, I want you to stick around because at the end, I'm going to share an important step we must all take when it comes to trust and integrity, even if we don't have clients yet. You know, before people will buy from you, they must know you, right? I mean, like if they don't know you exist and they don't know you have something to sell, well, obviously they can't buy from you, correct? All right, that's kind of obvious, right? Next, they must like you. No, they don't have to be your BFF, but they need to be leaning towards, I like this person. Like, we certainly don't want them to be thinking, I don't really like this person, but I think I'm going to buy what they have. No, if they don't like you, they're probably not going to buy from you. Now, not a whole lot you can do there. People are attracted to different personalities, but it is something I want you to keep in mind, okay? But most importantly, once they know you and they think, I kind of like this person, so they like you, they need to trust you, okay? Or they need to feel that they can trust you. And that's what I'm going to help you with. I like to call it scheduled integrity. All right. And I'm going to show you how you can make sure you have it and how you can avoid losing it, which is really important because I have experienced working with online coaches and course creators that I knew, I liked, and I thought, I think I can trust this person. And so I bought from them, worked with them, and over time, I was like, you know what? I can't trust this person. Their integrity for different, like different things, which is what we're going to talk about. I've experienced that end of it, but then I've experienced the other end. So all this comes from the various people I've worked with and how I've learned how important this is. The easiest way to lose trust is failing to show up or deliver as you promised. If you run late, okay, I'm not saying occasionally. We all have situations where we run late occasionally. But if it's a recurring theme, people begin to lose faith. Okay, they lose their trust in you. If you promised that you would deliver a particular, X number of this, or I'm going to give you this or that, you could lose those clients. We're going to talk about that. So doing these things, failing to show up or failing to deliver as promised, doing these things, either one of them, okay, or both would be even worse, but either one, you're going to this is going to lead you to losing trust, losing clients, and certainly they're not going to be referring their friends or their other people they know in business to you, right? So the easiest way to prevent this is to create what I call a dedicated Google Calendar, commitments and promises. Because here's the thing, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this, I don't think we intentionally tell them we're going to do something and in the back of our mind thinking, I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to say I'm going to do this so that I can get the sale, but I don't have any intention of doing it. I don't think that's you. I know that I don't believe that's really what was in the minds of any of the coaches and uh, course creators, the courses I bought from various people that they lost my trust. No, that's not what happened. It was just that they had no system on the back end. Maybe they forgot what they promised or they overpromised So they ended up over and delivered because they could not keep their promise because they promised too much. Their schedule didn't allow for it. That would be an example. Okay. So the thing is, you've got to make sure that we prevent this from happening. All right. So this calendar, commitments and promises, will be exclusively for making appointments for all the promises that you've made to your clients and audience. Now, don't confuse this with an appointment calendar, like one-on-one, like someone makes an appointment with you one-on-one and you've got to show up, like for that Zoom as an example, or someone sets an appointment with you one-on-one, you've got to show up at that coffee shop. Yes, you certainly want to have those on a calendar. That goes without being said, right? You're going to do those. Those are appointments you have. I'm talking about the things that sometimes I think in our minds they slip. We're not really thinking about those as an appointment, but when you make a commitment or a promise on a sales page or in an email telling people this is what you're going to get, click the link below to buy now. You've got to make sure, or when you're outlining that course and you're trying to think of what bonuses do I want to put in here? How many Zoom calls do I want to offer? Do I want to give them some, do some one-on-ones for the first, do I want to give it to everybody? Or does my calendar, when I look at it, do I only have space to do this for the first 10 people? Like whatever that is, you've got to decide what is that, okay? So you can see what I'm talking about are the small, somewhat, but just as important commitments and promises that we can easily forget, or like I mentioned, we can over commit to if we're not intentional about making sure we have scheduled space in our calendar for those. So let's jump over to my computer and I'm going to show you. Okay, now I want you to jump over to Google Calendar and create that calendar. If you're not sure how to do that, you go down here to the little plus sign that's down here under or at the bottom of your calendars. You probably don't have as many as I do, so it won't be very far down. And you're going to click on other calendars and then create new. When it pops up, you're just going to name the calendar. And like I mentioned, I would like for you to name this commitments and promises. Okay. And I'm not going to do that because I already have one that I'm going to show you how to use. So we're going to go back here. And as you can see on the left, I've got it checked, commitments and promises. That's the calendar I have pulled up. All right. So I'm going to be looking at my notes over here. So if you see me kind of looking down off to the side, that's why. So now I want you to add all the fixed dates related to your paid programs. Okay. These are your immovable, like you can't just cancel them. Now you can announce, hey, we're going to change our Wednesday call to Tuesdays. All right. Not saying once you make a commitment, it has to stay there for life. Okay. But if it says that you do something, if you're giving one Q&A call a week, say inside one of your paid programs, and then you decide when is that going to be, what time and for how long, and is it always on Wednesdays? Is it always on Saturday mornings? Is it on Sunday evenings? Whatever, you've got to commit to it. So I want you to add all the fixed dates related to your paid programs. And these would be weekly coaching calls. If you've got any course delivery deadlines, you can put those in here, because if you've like said, okay, this course is rolling out and there are 3 phases, but phase 4 will be available to you on this date. Now, if each person in your program receives a certain phase at a different time, they do it like they get it dripped, the content is dripped to them based on, okay, once you're in 6 weeks, you get this. When you're in 12 weeks, you get this, as an example. Well, then, of course, those dates will vary because it'll depend on the individual client or customer. What I'm talking about is your calendar, your commitments. If you've got a bonus that you've promised is coming out March 1st, then put it on the calendar. And you want to make sure that you also allow time, like I would put on there when it's due, but then I would put on there, how long is it going to take me to do this? And make sure that you have on your commitment and promises calendar some times based spaced out on your calendar for when you're going to work on that particular information. Okay. And it doesn't have to be the exact hour in the day, although it's better if it is. So what I like to do, and we've talked about this in a previous episode, if you work on projects, for instance, I work on projects in the afternoon on um, weekdays, but not on Thursdays. But the other days of the week, I work on projects in the afternoon at the time of this recording. That's my schedule. So I would block off some of those times in the afternoon to work on a project if it were a certain, module within a course, maybe a bonus that is due at a certain time. I've promised my clients are going to get that at a certain time, then I would want to make sure that I had that on the calendar. Okay. So everything you promise to deliver on your sales page and in your emails, get it on the calendar. If it's a recurring task, set it up recurring. So as an example, I just threw this in here as an example. Okay, I did live VMA/BMA, which is Vision Mastery Accelerator. That is my $7 a month membership. But I also have a BMA, which is Business Mastery Accelerator. That's also a membership. I do a Q&A for these two. It's combined at the time of this recording, maybe different. If you were to join the program today, you may see it's different. But my point, and there again, that's fine. You can change. But you got to make sure that what you've committed to and what people are expecting is happening. So I do the Q&A call on Wednesdays, the first Wednesday of the month. Okay, so I don't do it every week. It's recurring, and you can see right here, I've got it on monthly on the first Wednesday. And it's from 11 to 11:45. This is Central Standard Time because that's the time zone that I'm in. Okay, so your calendar will be set up for your time zone, or should be. You want to make sure you've designated as busy. So in case you do have a place where people can schedule appointments with you, that time will come up as busy. Okay, and then you're going to fill it in. So that's how you make it recurring, is by this little drop down. And so you want to make sure that you do that. And then what else do you need to put? So then you're going to put everything in there, anything at all that has to do. Now you may look at my calendar and say, oh my goodness, like you're not very busy. You probably ought to be doing more. Well, the reason I have multiple calendars is like when I'm working on this, I like to clear it off and be able to look and see what are my commitments and promises. But then as continue to work on it, I can always add the personal calendar in. So I just, when I'm here on the left and I check the box and you see that the personal stuff pops in. Um, Content is not showing up on this one because of some settings that I have done. Household and family projects. I told you I do projects in the afternoon. Family appointments. And these are the things that I actually share with my family. These things are on their calendar as well. My social profit session, my startup and shutdown ritual, and then any travel plans, which of course those won't show up here either because we don't have anything planned this week that's showing on the calendar. Okay, so for the week that I'm showing you right now, there's no travel plan. But this is what I'll do is I'll go in and I'll fill in. And so I'm looking at it and so as you're doing this, you're thinking, okay, if you promise that you're going to do a live Zoom 3 days a week, what are you going to take off the calendar? So this is when I'm setting up and making my promises and my commitments, and I'm designing the outline of that course. I'm like, okay, What do I need? What do they need from me? And where can I fit it into my schedule? How can I make this work? So the whole idea is you want to make sure you deliver on your promises, but you also want to make sure that you're doing that not only for your clients and customers, but also your family and also yourself. Okay. So you've got to make sure you have space for that. I want to make sure that you're including, which I do have on here. I'm going to go back now and take these off so you can see. It won't be so confusing for you. I've got my weekly blog episode comes out every Monday. My new YouTube comes out every Thursday. And then the email for the YouTube is sent on Thursdays. And my weekly newsletter sends on Mondays. So to me, these are commitments. And the reason I say that is if you go to my newsletter sign up page, as an example, I'll just take you over there so you can see what I'm talking about. It says right here, sorry, down here at the bottom, see you in your inbox on Monday. So when they join my newsletter, they're told you're going to get a newsletter from me on Monday. So I want to make sure it goes out. You're watching this on my YouTube, so you're already there, but I'm going to show you in case you didn't see this. My banner up here, what's it say? New episode every Thursday. If that says new episode every Thursday, and I have someone that comes to my YouTube channel and they look up and they see that the last video up here was 6 months ago, or it was 3 years ago, or it was whatever it was, but this says every Thursday, is that going to gain the trust of that person? No. And you may say, oh, well, then just don't put on there that you're going to promise it every Thursday and it won't matter. Well, it does matter because people want to know, like they're here to follow professionals. They're here to follow someone that they know they can, that they know, like, and that they know they can trust. And so it's important that you decide what is that? What is that going to look like for you? All right. So I make sure that those are commitments. Like I say, as you're coming through, those are commitments. I do recommend that you color code. An example for that would be like, since this is a Zoom, what you could do is you can edit this and you can make, I like to make Zooms red because I really want them to stand out. So I'll go ahead and I'll do this in following. And so it's going to stand out on my calendar, even though it's on my commitments and promises calendar, which is designated to be this purple color. It's coming out as red because I changed it for that. All right. You might want to, you could use colors for whatever you want. That's up to you, but that's how you change the colors there. Let's see. All right. I think that's everything I want to show you here on the calendar. Now let's talk about integrating this with your broader planning tools, okay? Inside my VMA membership for solopreneurs, I teach to set up workflows in Asanas for all areas of business. And this would include workflows for all your commitments and promises. But then I take it a step further and I schedule these in my physical planner. I use the Full Focus Planner by Michael Hyatt. I'll drop his link below. At the beginning, I mentioned I'd share an important step that we must all take when it comes to trust and integrity, even if we don't have clients yet. And here is that tip. When you buy a course, you purchase a book, whatever, and you plan like to go through this course or to read this book to improve some area in your business. Maybe you join a membership. I want you to log in, save the login. All of mine are in Asana. And then I want you to schedule. When will you attend class and learn? When will you read that book? When's your reading time? When will you implement? Don't leave this to chance. You've spent your hard-earned money, so make it worth it, okay? Like show up for yourself. Integrity begins with keeping our commitments and promises that we've made to ourselves. And that's exactly what you're doing when you invest in a new course. So if you're finding this helpful, hit that like button so I know that it's helpful. All right. And then today, I just want to emphasize, we've tackled how maintaining scheduled integrity is crucial for building trust and ensuring client satisfaction. By placing your commitments on your calendar, you not only protect your reputation as a solopreneur, but you're going to enhance or increase your productivity and your peace of mind. Being reliable as a solopreneur is an absolute must for long-term success. Now, all of this is well and good, but what about getting customers in the first place? Well, check out that new video that just popped up on your screen to make sure that you have a plan to schedule money coming in. That would be sales, okay? So you want to make sure, I like to call it scheduling money coming in. You want to have a plan for scheduling that money to be coming into your bank account. So check out that video on the screen.